Okay. All right, there we go. Today we're going to talk about listing presentation. So this is how this is going to go. I'm going to run through, actually for those of you attending Ignite, I'm going to do a deep dive on listing presentation on Friday. Today we're going to just run through quick what my listing presentation actually looks like fairly quickly, because I want to get to role-playing objection handlers. Because at the listing presentation, I'm going to get objections for sure on what? Price. Yeah, everybody bucks on price, right? And so we're going to take a look at what that looks like initially, because they all respond the same way initially, and then my ability to be able to move through the main objection, which is price. And then next week we'll get to, hello, Ms. Campanaro. Next week we'll get to, she snuck in on me, I didn't see her. Okay, next week we'll get to commission and also doing some more objections on price. But today we'll set the foundation with being able to handle objections and get a little bit more comfortable with that. So we're gonna do an interactive role play, and it'll be real easy. All you do is, all you're gonna have to do is read. Everybody can read. I know that because you passed your real estate exam. Okay, so you're just gonna read, and we're gonna get comfortable with the ideas and concepts on handling objections at the listing presentation. I'm actually kind of excited to do this session because this is, I think, the most under-focused skill in our business. Meaning, like, people know to do it, and some people do it, less do it systematically, and even less really focus their time, Janice, on like becoming very skillful at it. Canning it, meaning, okay, I'm gonna show you what I do, but I don't do the same thing every time, because sometimes, look, I don't get to the listing presentation, but the listing presentation's in my head, and then I gotta like spit it out because we're standing in the front yard and they're not gonna let me in the house. Got a listing presentation sign that way one day on Rhodes Ranch in Vegas. It was a golf course community, and he wouldn't let me inside, and I didn't know why. Well, it turned out his wife was pretty sick and bedridden, but I was able to do the listing presentation in his front yard. So internalizing having a plan, right, and a structure allows me to be able to be more consistent with delivering the ideas and the value around why me, right? Why me? Why would they choose you to represent them? Because for you, this is $10, $20, $30,000 deal, but for them, it's a $300, $500, $700 million deal. It's a big deal, right? So you're gonna have to earn that trust faster to be able to get this done in a reasonable amount of time. This shouldn't take 2 hours, okay? And I know some of you guys, like, you're all about the feelsies and the relationship and getting along, and that's good, that's good, that's good. But if you're all feelsies and no thinksies, Natalie, then you don't come off as the business professional, and then they may think they can, that because you haven't exemplified that power, you haven't demonstrated it, you're not leading, then if you're not driving, who's driving? Yeah. They're driving. And is that fun? Never. It's never fun. And so I want to exemplify that leadership on, this may be your property, but you're hiring me, and you're hiring me to be in charge and to lead you. And they want that. They want that. They want you to lead. Even the ones, the high Ds, who might flex a little and try to take control, they're doing that to test you to see if you're actually strong or not, consciously or subconsciously. Some of them do it intentionally. Some of them don't know what they're doing, and they're just flexing because they want to see if you actually have control. They want to see if you'll actually lead them, because they may know a lot about whatever it is that they do in their life, but they don't know more than you, even you newbies, about the listing, on the data, on some of the information that you can provide for them, on some of the basics that allow you to communicate effectively and efficiently at the presentation to be able to lead them towards their listing being sold. Okay. Listing presentation. Who has a canned listing presentation? Something that they go to every time.
Like outline.
JJ, outline. Okay, so that's what we're going to look at, is an outline. All right, and is it something you've been doing for a long time or a little time?
A long time. I don't even know where I got it now that I think about it.
Okay.
Maybe bold?
Bold?
Maybe.
All right, let's jump in on the listing presentation. All right, I'm just gonna run through this very, very quickly to show you guys what I'm doing. And then I really want to focus more of our time on the objection handling. Okay, so hi, thanks again for having me over. I'm excited about getting your property sold. Do you mind if I take a quick look on my own? I really don't want them to come with me on the walk. 5 or 6 out of 10 times out of 10, they follow me anyways, and I can't get rid of them. I don't want them to though, and I try. Try, right, Adam? Try. Yeah, I know. That's why I do it, because I need to hear myself say how pathetic some of my thoughts and actions actually are. Because actually, Adam, I could be a little bit more assertive on making sure that I'm walking the property on my own. Why is it important to walk the property on my own?
You want to see the property through the eyes of the buyer.
I want to see the
from what they have done to the joint.
Yeah,
So amazing.
right. Why else might it be important, Nicole?
To get through it, so it's not a 2 hours.
Says the D. Like, so we don't sit here for an hour.
Quicker.
Yeah, so I move through it faster, and for the purpose of, go ahead.
I think it gives the seller pricing control.
That's exactly where I was going. Yeah, because they go through and they're doing this. Cha-ching, 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 cha-ching. And I don't want them to like start adding up all the value. I don't want them to do that. That's not where we need to start. We need to start with me getting a stark, earnest, quick look at the house, because it could turn into a 2 or 3 hour ordeal, especially if they're a talker, and then I lose control, and then we've started out of control. Not good. All right, so do. Make sure that that's something, for me, that's something very, very important. All right, setting the tone. All right, a good speaker always talks about what they're going to talk about. They talk about it, and then they talk about what they talked about. All right, so we're going to set the tone initially as a good speaker on here's what we're going to talk about today. That's what setting the tone's about. Time. I'm glad I could find some time to meet with you today. I'm the prize. Not you, me. Okay? Setting the tone. Right? I'm glad I had some time to meet with you today. I have another meeting right after this, so let's get started. D's are going to love to hear that. I's and S's, hey, they're getting the picture that you're a busy person, and this is not something that should drag on for a long period of time, because nobody wants that. Okay, like one lonely person wants that, but typically they don't want that, okay? That's not what they want, is for this to go on for hours. They're not looking for best friends. That might happen through the process, okay? But they're looking, people don't hire the attorney that they want to be their best friend. People don't hire the doctor who they really, really like. Actually, your doctor could be a jerk, but you know that they're really, really good, and you're going into surgery, and you really don't you don't really care about their personality. False or true?
True.
I know this is a little bit different. I know. I's and S's. D's are like, that's right, just get it done, knock it out. Natalie's like, wait, I want to bond. You do have to connect. And you can be efficient. Yeah. Okay. So time. We're gonna set the tone on time. Set the tone on the market. So Adam, first, go ahead and feel comfortable. I'm here as a professional to share what's really happening with the market, so you can make the decision that's best for you. Okay. Now, it's important for me, and I do take my scripts to the listing presentation, because it's for me to not forget, because I get derailed, they derail me. Like I have ADD. All right. I need to focus on what I'm talking about, Larry. So it's important for me to like make sure that I stay on track. And on those scripts, there's ... Take a little pause, Paul. Bold italicized words. Feel comfortable. Neuro-linguistic programming, we talked about this before. What you say matters, how you say it matters even more. Right, Janice? So I'm telling them, make the decision. It's called an embedded command, okay? These are not the droids you're looking for. Yeah, see, old Star Wars nerds got that. Like, Z's and millennials are like, what is he talking about, okay? Embedded commands, right, Tommy? Make the decision that's best for you. All right, let's set the tone on goal. The goal is for you to sell for the highest price in the shortest time. May I explain? and I'm going to tell them time is the enemy. Very, very quickly, I'm just going to go over this. I'm going to touch it because before I get to pricing, I'm actually going to have another. I'm going to lay this down again, Jan, and I'm going to talk about how important pricing really is. But longer is not better. Faster is better. You get more money the faster you sell. Does that make sense? And I want to just set that tone that speed is good. Okay? And time, the market, is the enemy. Okay? All right, so set the tone on decision. Let's make sure we cover everything that you're going to need to feel confident. There we go, some more embedded commands. Feel comfortable, feel confident, and you can decide to move forward if it makes sense to work together. Is that okay? And every time, yeah, that's okay. Awesome, we're on our way. All right, there's 3 options at the end of my presentation. One of 3 things are gonna happen. You're gonna have the opportunity to hire me for the job, or you'll decide not to hire me for the job, or I'll decide we may not be a good fit. And any one of those is fine. I want you to know I'm not just gonna tell you what you wanna hear or take the listing just to get a listing. We need to be on the same page for this to be the right relationship, I's, S's, for this to make sense, D's and C's. I don't know, I'm playing around with the language a little bit depending who I'm talking to. Okay, I'm gonna pre-qual quickly. Before I get to that, comments, questions, thoughts on setting the tone and the options. Delusions, fears, anxieties.
Question, on higher-end properties, do you let them talk more at like a higher-end listing, or do you still walk through it through the eyes of the buyer?
When I'm walking with them and they're walking with me?
At the very beginning?
Yeah.
Sort of part?
And they've weaseled their way into walking with me?
Like, yeah, you just kind of, or like, it doesn't matter the price where you would allow some of that?
No, price doesn't matter.
Okay.
Nope. No, it's worse higher up.
Yeah.
It's worse. They're worse.
Yeah.
Because they think, my house is really nice. I know every property over $1 million's nice. I know, it's great. It's a great property, it's fantastic. Okay, it's actually worse.
When are you figuring out their personality type?
As soon as I'm talking to them at the open house, on the call, I mean, I'm always, in my CRM, I created a custom field, and right at the top, DISC. And there's a drop down that I created, DISC. And I'm trying to vet that as soon as possible. On the pre-qual before I go out to the appointment, I'm going to be also paying attention to that and maybe even making some notes so that when I show up, maybe I'm using more thinksy questions, more analytic and numbers oriented or statistical, or I'm being a little bit more forward and direct, and maybe I'm even being faster on the pace. D's for sure. S's, slow down.
And how are you dealing with 2 different personality types in the same relationship?
Yeah, so that's called schizophrenia.
No,
And
one partner has, is one.
yeah, so you'll be able to figure out who's in charge pretty quickly, because that person takes the forefront, right? And I'm that's the primary, but I'm always reverting to the secondary to make sure that they know that I am paying attention to them and that they feel important. So I'm playing that a little bit, and that primary communication is the communication that's in alignment with that personality style, and then when I revert for a quick time or a short time to the other one, then I switch gears a little bit. How does that make you feel? So does that make sense? How do you feel about that? I'm still playing with that a little bit. All right, one more question, let's move on. Jen.
I think just to piggyback on this one, the quickest way I could tell if somebody's a D is like the way they answer questions.
Yeah.
So like if they want to ask the price right away, like
Yeah.
that's a D.
Yeah, you sit down, they're like, so what's the price? All right, slow down, cowboy. We're gonna get there.
Yeah, that's a price. Or like if it's a C, if they talk about the cabinets and the flooring and what they did to it, then you know that's very detail-oriented person.
Yeah.
And then,
Or well, it could be high I because they're like, look at these beautiful cabinets I have. And you're like, oh, those are great. Yeah, it happens, right? It happens. You walk in on these properties, or it's a high C, and they're like, or I have the floor plan. It's 1,752 square feet. There's a 6 inches, but it's not on the record. And I mean, okay, so there's lots of things to do to be able to keep track of that. Okay, 3 options, 3 things that are gonna happen tonight. I'm gonna review the pre-qual quickly, just some of these basic questions. I'm not going through the whole pre-qual again, but going through the pre-qual quickly again allows me to differentiate myself on anyone else that they're talking to. I love competition. I love when they tell me there's another person, then my competitive juices start flowing. I'm like, all right, let's go. Before I left Vegas, the last property I sold was in the 800s. It was in Northwest, like up in Durango that way. Beautiful house, ranch, over an acre. And he had eight, I don't know if you remember this, 8 agents come out. I'm like, all right, let's do this. I'm going out with a bang. I knew it was gonna be my last listing. Got it, okay? Because when you provide a professional presentation, am I gonna be able to do it? No, not always. I'm not always gonna be able to do it. When I should do it, when I can do it, Janice, I gotta go for it, man. I have to fight to try to get this, because this is the differentiator on being able to be perceived as a professional. Going through the pre-qual is gonna help make that happen. You said you were moving to, you said you were moving because, you said you had to be there by, the price that you'd like on the home, you said you owe, you weren't planning on selling it yourself, you did want the money out. Okay. Now there's 2 things that are gonna happen. So now there are only 2 things to look at. Number 1, how I will secure the best deal for you. And number 2, the price we set for the property. So first, let's take a quick look at an aggressive marketing plan to find the right buyer. Especially for expireds withdrawals, I have to go through this because I need to be, price is gonna be the price. And I do believe that more often than not, I should be going through that. I don't always go through that because sometimes they're kind of already there, because I've done so much pre-qualing and so much conversation prior. And I do send a pre-listing package with my marketing plan, with the contracts, with my Google review, with my website. And I'm sending them this like pre-marketing package for them to look over things. And I am telling them to make sure that they get a look at that. Questions, comments, concerns? Good? All right, cool. All right, fantasy land. Some of you guys are gonna hate this part. Okay. Nicole, can I be honest with you?
Please.
All right, thank you. I appreciate that. I prepared what we call the comparative market analysis. Now, there's 2 parts to this research. Part 1 is what we call fantasy land, and that's where homeowners list their home for. And part 2 is called reality. And that's what professional real estate agents list and sell homes for. And we're gonna get clarity on what the market's doing on price right now. Does that sound fair? Okay, now I've gotten tie down with, there's a distinction on what works and what doesn't work. Now some of you guys will never do this. You're not gonna do it, right? I can tell by the look on some of your faces already. I know who you are, okay? Look, I don't care, but you need to say something on the reality of I'm ceding a little bit more here on pricing and how important price is, because some of you guys are new and you don't know yet. Okay, you get a freebie right now, but some of you guys have been in the room a little while and still right now, like the property's not selling. You know, I don't know. Stop it. You know. Look, there's only one problem if people are not coming through the door. Only one problem. Yeah, and you know what, Janice? When I get to that point in the presentation, I'm like, hey, there's really only one issue, especially with a beautiful property like this. We do all the marketing, and we do this, and we do that, and we do this, and they're not coming through the door. There's really only one problem. Yeah, and I do this, and I do this, and I'm like, say it. I'm not gonna move on till you say it. Because I need their buy-in, and this is part of, and you'll notice there's several parts in here that are looking to demonstrate the significance of pricing. Very, very, very important. So look, you don't say fantasy land, fine, but you better figure out how to start really hammering home how important this really is, because it backs a busy road, the condition, it has beat up rugs, fill in the blank, doesn't matter. It's price, and then sweet, it's price. It's always price, always. Never anything else. If it's blah, 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 or blah, 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 the price will rectify that, okay? It's always, always, always price. Okay. All right, buyer value. The purpose of a comparative market analysis is to determine the value of your home in the eyes of a buyer. Do you know how buyers determine value, Adam?
I know I would.
Yeah, how do buyers determine value, you think?
Look at the property and compare it to other stuff that's on the market and that sells.
Yeah, look, you may ask a question and they don't answer it. Answer the question, right? And then I ask them again, right? How would you determine value? And he goes, well, I'd compare properties that have recently sold or are on the market. Do they have sold data? No or yes? No. Okay, so this is part of the inside market information. That's terminology I use. Hey, I got some inside market information for you, okay? Data that they don't have access to, okay? And so that's something value that you can bring. All right, buyers determine value by compare.
They do have sold data, right? Because some of the websites will provide it. They don't have all the details.
They don't have all the details, right? Because there's all kinds of stuff on the variables that could affect.
Well, they also don't have systems that can't prove it all together either, right? So if I can look individually on the homes, but they can't get a list of.
I use that, Chris, on sellers and buyers because they go, just send me the information. Well, listen, information's everywhere, and I appreciate that you want that information because it says to me that you're concerned about accuracy and making sure that you feel comfortable. Is that how you feel, Chris?
That's exactly right.
Yeah, and so look, really, it's really less about the data and more about like, how do I utilize the data? How do I leverage the data? How do I make the data work for me? Does that make sense?
It does. How do I read the data? How do I make sure that
you
got all of that?
They don't need another list. They don't need that. They need you to interpret the list and help them understand the list and help them take advantage of the list. Okay, so buyers determine value by comparison shopping. Regardless of what he answered, I'm just going to keep moving on and say buyers determine value by comparison shopping. They look at the price of your home based on its features and benefits and compare it with the features and benefits of similar homes that have sold or are currently on the market. Does that make sense? Yes, of course that makes sense. All right, great. So you can see that if you want to increase value, we have to have a lower price, JJ, or we have to have more features and benefits at the same price. Does that make sense? They say yes, but you know what? At this point, they're just like, they're not really even listening to you. They're just like, oh, okay. Because it doesn't, like, they're not thinking right now. Okay, so that's why you're just constantly hammering on price because I'm gonna take a sledgehammer and whack them over the head on it later on price. But like, I'm creating this cadence of like, I say smart things and you agree with them, or I get your thoughts or feelings on them to be able to make this a conversation, not just me sitting there and pointing and talking all day long. All right, so unless you are planning to add more features and benefits to your home, are you? 9.9 times out of 10, it's no. Great, then price is the only issue. Can I show you what I mean? Okay, now we're gonna jump into the comps, okay? Did I see a hand over here? No? Yawning? Okay. All right, so I'm going to go through the comparisons. It says repeat for 3 comparables. I mean, typically I'm doing 5. I'm focused on 2 or 3, but I might need 4 or 5. You shouldn't be looking, you may have a report with 10 homes on them, but you should not be going through all 10 properties. You should be going through 2 or 3. 3's a lot, okay? And maybe you have, sometimes I have more there to just show the aggregation, the accumulation of all the data, like an average for the community, the average price per square foot, something like that, right? But I'm highlighting, lots of highlighting on my listing presentation to be able to show them the 3 most important properties. And you're comparing all the features and you're working through it, and I'm asking them sometimes, how do you feel about the condition of this property? How do you feel this one measures up to your property? And I'm asking them questions all the way through. This is really, really important. Some of you guys, we've experienced this in Power Hour before where we've done live listing presentations. Is be careful because this is a point where you could just start doing this for 5 minutes and you get no interaction, right? How many square feet here? How many bedrooms? What did it sell for? What was the price per square foot? I'm just looking for some interaction here to keep that cadence of this is me and you, this is me and you. Okay, because you could very easily just run through that and be talking for 5 minutes. And like, look, some of you guys even right now, like you're thinking about, did I feed my cat this morning? And did I lock the front door? Right? Yeah. Okay, that's what I'm saying. If I don't call out your names or like get you to get involved, then like,
Another reason why I make them answer the questions is because it's making them self-realize. You're not pulling
Yeah.
stuff out of the air.
Yeah.
Even though they can read it, if they say it out loud,
Yeah.
it's telling them shit.
Let me tell you, 7 or 8 realtors out of 10 do not do this. 7 or 8, 10. So just this alone, combined with all that other stuff you were doing, is really making you stand out as a professional. And you don't have to know the market or know all the data, but you've done the homework here and you've spent some time with it, and you should be leaving early and driving the neighborhood if you haven't been around there before. If you get a chance to be able to preview the property, that'd be even better. You don't always get a chance to do that though, but you need to be the expert.
I also always ask them if they've seen the properties already, because a lot of them.
I always ask that too.
They walk in,
Yeah.
they walk the neighborhood, they feel the open houses because they want to also see what their competition is. And if you're already pointing it out, like this is your competition, they already know, okay, I know exactly what she's talking
Yeah,
about.
and sometimes they haven't, and that's good. Chris?
I did leave my other on this one, by the way. Just letting you, so the 3, why it's 3, you guys probably already know this, but 3 is statistically sound. So like if you have any less than 3, then it's not a statistically sound analysis of the properties. And 5, it's between 3 and 5. So that's exactly why Pauly comes up with that 3 to 5, because that's the prime number. For
Not too much, not too little.
Right.
Yep.
Any more than that, and it's also not statistically sound because the
Right.
properties are different. So pick the 3 to 5 that are great.
That's good. All right, now that we have clarity on the reality of the market, what price do you feel we should use to create value in the eyes of the buyer and get someone to decide to buy your home versus the competition? Very, very, very important. You got to get what they think first, okay? Don't give them your price without going to what they think the price should be, because they're still going to go on the defense and go, well, I still think 550. And like everything you're looking at is like clearly no more than 5.
You're the expert.
Yeah. All right, slow down over there. All right, we're going to get there. David's like, I want to get an objection. Let me see what he does with it. Right. We'll get there. Okay. All right. And they say 550. And so I go, all right, hey, now that you've seen the prices, David, I'm going to recommend a price of $500,000 to get this home sold. Now your net proceeds are going to be $300,000, and I always have my net proceeds there. Always. I use a net proceed analyzer. I use TNTs. All title companies have something. You should have something in hand. Sometimes I have multiple. Usually I have multiple for a range so I don't get stuck on that number. It could be as high as, might be as low as, and that's part of the printout along with my marketing material, which sometimes I'm doing on my tablet, sometimes I'm doing in person because tablets don't always perform, right? You can't get Wi-Fi. But even on mobile hop spotting, which is really great these days, the other day I ran into it. I always bring a backup, and it's a leave behind. I got my folder with my company, with my logo on it. I got the marketing. I got the contracts. I have the comps, and I have the net sheet. Everything's in there, bang, for them. Your net proceeds will be $300,000. All we need to do now is simply sign the contract so I can help you get what you want in the time frame you want it. Won't that be great? No, Paul, won't be great. I don't want 500,000. I want 550. Or they say what everybody says 9 times out of 10. What do they say?
Can we start higher?
Huh?
Can we start higher?
I want to think about it. They say those other things too, right? But like so often, Nicole, they're like, okay, let me think about it, right? Okay, which means? Me no likey price. Okay? No likey the price.
Getting a second opinion.
Right? No likey the price. All right, so I got to deal with that. Now, this is what separates the pros from the nos. Oh, okay, yeah. Pros from the nos, yeah, I like that one, okay? The amateurs from the pros, okay? Your ability to be able to scoot your chair up and go, all right, let's dig in here. Let's talk about it. Because typically, I hear you, first of all, I hear you repeat, approve, right? I hear you saying that you want to be confident moving forward and make sure that you're getting as much as you possibly can for price. Is that how you feel? Are those your thoughts? Yeah, that's right. Repeating and approving is as significant here as it was when we were talking about prospecting. okay? More important even, okay? And so I need to address what they said, repeat it, approve it, make sure that they understand that I hear you, I'm listening to you, all right? And then I'm gonna move. Where am I gonna move to? More questions. All right, that's what we're gonna talk about in a second. Is my ability to handle the objections. We need to get there. Okay. I'm not gonna go through this whole thing, but I'm gonna like spend less than 120 seconds. These are my visuals. Your vision is our mission. We're committed to understanding people, blah, blah, blah. Integrity, commitment, experience, leadership, blah, blah, blah. I should do it this way. Where business comes from, what most people don't focus on is the real estate agent. Everybody has like a version of this, but I'm telling them how important it is to be able to get people to look at what the real estate agent does. What is the real estate agent doing besides putting it on the MLS, putting a sign in the yard, praying that it sells? We've heard that before, some of you guys, okay? Marketing matters, social media blitz. I talk about organic and paid advertisements and what that looks like in seeing a report. And I'm gonna provide you a report of what our paid advertising reporting actually looks like. And that's my report, that's actually the report. Online analytics report. This is something I get from, I don't even remember where it's from, but it aggregates all the data from Zillow, Realtor.com, Homes.com. It shows it, what is it? ListTrack, it is ListTrack, that's right. Yeah, and it's like $10 a month or something. Totally worth it, right? For me to be able to aggregate all that data and go, okay, well, what are people, how much are they really looking at the property? I'm gonna talk about, so they get that weekly. Direct marketing, so I have a report, and the report says, how many calls did Paul make this week? How many contacts did they make? How many texts did they send? How many emails did they send? It's a general report, and I say, hey, this is not all for you, but I want you to know that like I wanna be held accountable to what I'm doing, because I should be talking to people about selling your property. Open house, high impact open house. I talk about this 7 levels of open house. Some of you guys have experienced from KW before, but besides just putting a sign in the yard, how aggressive we are with high impact open houses for social media, circle prospecting around the open house before we do it. And then this is, what's this one? Some of you guys know this one. This document's used from List Reports. List Track was the other one, right? And this is List Reports. This is free. And I use this and I like it because it gives a little rundown of what's going on with the neighborhoods, what's going on with the schools, and this is a sample of the open house flyer. Okay, showing time feedback, I pay for that. Look, quality of your business, quality of your results. Like I pay for this. I don't know how much a listing it is. But it shows all the feedback and it automates texts and emails to be able to solicit responses on the feedbacks, and then it composites it into a report that I send them. This is the front page of the report on how it looks. More accountability. I want to be held accountable to what I'm doing. They love that. They love that. People are not providing reports.
If you're a buyer, provide feedback to the listing agents, please.
Yeah.
Constructive, polite feedback. Thank you.
Professional photography, syndication because we're Keller, 350 plus websites. Most people only do 6 to 12. Keller Williams awesome worldwide. Keller Williams awesome locally. Negotiating is my superpower. I got to know the contract, know the competition, and know the conversation. And this is what I sell as my secret power. This is what is going to differentiate me from other agents, is that people are people and people can be difficult. You know what I'm talking about, Mr. Seller, right? People at work, and they're like, oh yeah, this is... Okay, because more agents kill deals than sellers and buyers. And so my ability to go, look, I got to know the competition, I got to know the contract, I got to know the conversation, and that's what differentiates me, because you could win or lose negotiations 3 to 5%. Nobody talks about negotiations. Nobody. Okay, or the power of it. Okay, Nicole's like, I do, right? Okay, so that's powerful. And ultimately that yields more. Compared to the ABOR, here's my numbers. Real properties, real sales, I get you more. How much more? Almost 4% more. Do you like that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I like it. Okay. Okay, market report, I might talk about that. Compensation, I'm not gonna go through that, but I have a scale based off of, it's 3, I'm charging 3, but if I don't sell it, I don't charge anything. If they just want me to look over the paperwork and I didn't do anything, I'll charge them 1.5. If I bring a represented buyer, they don't wanna be represented, then I'm gonna charge them 4. I don't charge I don't charge 5 or 6. I charge 4, and I go through that with them. Pricing misconceptions, and now I'm going to start getting into the importance of pricing. Pricing on when most offers are received, 4 to 6 weeks. I'm going through this fast, guys, because I really want you to role play the objection handlers. I know I'm going to do this on Friday. I'm going to really dive into this heavy, but it's important to start seeding, because I'm about to go into the CMA. Expectations on pricing. We should not be on the market a long period of time, because the average days on market right now, and I was going to go over it, but we don't have enough time. Average days on market for Travis and Williamson County, Where's it at?
55-ish.
Yeah, 60. It's like 60 and 63. The numbers just came out 2 days ago. If you aren't checking on a monthly basis, mid-month, 15th or later on ABOR numbers, you should be downloading that data monthly to know, like, how's the market? You should know. How many homes are on the market right now? 14,632, okay? I looked this morning, all right. But we should know those numbers, right? And so how's the market moving? Well, properties should be selling in 30 to 45 days. Properties that take longer to sell to that started too high. And they get an offer when the property adjusts their price within 30 days. That happens. Okay, well, the market's slow, and things are. Listen, that's an amateur who doesn't know what they're talking about, and that's going to clearly distinctly differentiate you from the competition, is you being able to talk intelligently, knowledgeably with statistics about the market. Okay, I have a little. Sorry about this little thing right here. Oh, there we go. Okay. Showing activity, I love this one, and I'm going to bring this back for price reductions. Showings per week with no offer. 3 to 5, we're probably 3 to 5% overpriced. 1 to 3, no showings, probably 5 to 7. No showings, 7 to 10%. That's not going to happen, Mr. Seller, because I'm not going to allow us to be there, and maybe we're just not going to be on the same page. But we get 3 to 5 showings. Over how long, Paul? A couple of weeks, 1 to 2 weeks. Couple of weeks, like we're getting 3 to 5 showings a week, and we don't have any offers. Guess what? Probably still overpriced. Up to around $1 million, 1.2, maybe 1.5. Look, do $1 million properties sell quickly? No. Hell yes, they do. Jan, ask Andy Allen. Ask me. $1 million properties, $2 million. 3 million, look, they can sell. You get over 2, it's a different crowd. Yeah. All right, but under 1.5 and under, those properties still sell if they're priced right quickly. The inventory for quality homes is relatively still low. All right, so the property should not be sitting around regardless of the price point. Okay, I'm not going to go over that. All right, so here's what we're going to do. Let's very quickly, what I want you to do, and I probably don't have enough because I don't know how many people are even here. If you don't have one, get with someone who doesn't have one. And I want you guys to say, we need to think, tell me your name again.
Jasmine.
Jasmine, I need to think about it. And Jasmine's gonna go, oh, okay. And Jasmine's just gonna read, okay? And then I'm gonna go, well, I think I wanna start a little higher. And then Jasmine's just gonna read, okay? Now the purpose of this is for you to just get the concepts and the ideas in. Okay, not for you to perform it wonderfully. And after you get down, there's going to be 6 or 7 options on price, because that's the real one that really hammers them, that you're going to get hammered on. So you need to have multiple responses. You're not going to say something smart and then they're going to fall down. That's not going to happen. You're going to go, yeah, and then you say something really smart and then they go, well, I still kind of want to, right? Who has kids? Okay, you know what I'm talking about. You got to say things like 3, 4, 5, 10 times. Okay? You're earning like a $10,000, $20,000, $30,000 paycheck. You're going to have to earn it right here, because this is where you earn your paycheck, right here. You earn your paycheck here, not at closing. You earn your paycheck here.